Hello children, welcome to English with Kashish. So today we are going to do the non-detailed chapter of your first language, which is called Ulysses and Cyclops. Now this is a very adventurous Greek story. This is about a king's son, Ulysses, who had just won a war and was going back to his country. He was the king of the place called Ithaca in Greece, okay, and he was going back. Now when he was going back, he stopped somewhere for a break, and at that island he came across Cyclops. Now Cyclops had hidden themselves from normal people in caves. They used to live in caves and they had one eye in the center, that's all. No more, nothing, only one eye in the center. So this is the meet between Cyclops and Ulysses. How Cyclops wanted to harm Ulysses and how did he put his mind into place and escaped that. Okay, so let's read this adventure story. This is written by Charles Lamb. I have divided it into parts, so we are doing the first part today. This is on page number 134 of your English textbook. We are going to read about the author first. This is Charles Lamb. He was born in 1775 and died in 1834. He was born in London and was a great essayist. Who is essayist? Who writes lovely long essays. So his most common one is Essays of Elia. A poet, and he was a much loved storyteller. Storytellers have great imaginations, right? And it's always nice to read and write a lot of stories. He, with his sister Mary Ann Lamb, wrote tales from Shakespeare designed to make Shakespeare familiar to the young. How can you relate to Shakespeare? He made it very simple. His Adventures of Ulysses, from which Ulysses and Cyclops is an extract, was very successful attempt aimed at familiarizing the Greek epic, the Odyssey, to the young. It is from this epic, the Odyssey, to the young. Which one? This Ulysses and the Cyclops. Okay, so let's start reading. Coasting on. What is coasting on? Sailing on the ship along the coast. Okay, you are at the very close part of the coast. Coasting on all that night by unknown and out of the way shores, they came by daybreak to the land. They have been on the water for a long time. Now they have come to the land to take a break, okay? Who? Where the Cyclops dwell. Who are these Cyclops? Cyclops are the race of giants, having only one eye in the middle of the forehead, who inhabited in the land of Sicily. What was this land? It was called Sicily, and they were hiding on this island in caves. Who? Cyclops. These, they had only one eye. They were giants. Okay, see how a human is so small, and what is a giant? Giant is big, massive, like a hero, big. Okay, so Cyclops were also like giants. But the earth untilled produces for them rich wheat and barley and grapes. Yet they have neither bread nor wine, nor know the art of cultivation. They did not know how to cultivate or how to put seeds and grow. But like nature, how you throw seeds here and there, it automatically grows. So in their land also food was automatically growing and they were just living on that. They didn't know how to make food. They didn't know how to make bread. They didn't know how to make wine, right? How do you make wine? We humans do, but they didn't know. They were just living on a land with everything just growing here and there. There were no rules. There were nothing. There was nowhere there, you know. There was no civilization at all. Earth was producing food for them automatically, like rich wheat and barley and grapes. They had everything. They had wheat, they had barley and grapes, but they did not know how to make food. They did not know how to make wine. Okay? Ships or boat, they have none. There is absolutely no work, no business. There are no ships, there are no boats. There is no trade, there is no commerce. No one is working there. Everyone's idle, doing nothing. Okay, there is no business there. Or wish to visit other shores. They did not even have the wish to go anywhere else. They were very happy where they were living. Yet they have convenient places for harbors and for shipping, but still they had convenient places to ship or make their boats stay. Here Ulysses, now who are Ulysses? He is the hero of Homer's epic Odyssey. Ulysses was the hero of the epic Odyssey. He was the king of the island of Ithaca in Greece. As I told you, he was the king of the island Ithaca, which was in Greece. After the Trojan War, there was a war that happened which is called Trojan War. He embarked to return home but met on the way with a series of adventures, one of which is narrated here. So when he was coming back after winning the war, he went through a lot of adventures. One of the adventures is this particular one, Ulysses and Cyclops. So here Ulysses, with the chosen party of 12 followers, he had 12 followers with him, landed to explore what sort of men dwelt there. So he landed on this island and he tells us about what kind of men lived there. Whether hospitable and friendly to strangers or altogether wild and savage, for as yet no dwellers appeared in sight. So when you go to an unknown place, what do you see? Oh my God, will they be friendly to me? Will they give me a little food to eat? Will they hit me? Will they be nice to me? Will they be friendly to me? Those thoughts are coming to you, right? So these thoughts were coming into them also. So they were looking here and there if they can see anyone, but they could not see anyone there. No one, no dwellers, no passers-by appeared in sight, okay? And savage is uncivilized. What does savage means? Uncivilized. So were they altogether wild and uncivilized? They had all these thoughts in their mind. The first sign of habitation which they came to was a giant's cave, rudely fashioned. So what is habitation? Habitation means with something that you know someone is living here. So that the first sign of habitation was a cave. They saw a cave which was made by someone. Yes, someone would have made it, but it was very, very rudely fashioned, just haphazardly kept. Everything was, it was not organized. What is fashioned? These words highlighted are in your glossary. So fashioned is designed. They were very rudely designed, but of a size of, what was the size of the cave? The size of the house indicates something, right? The vast proportions of its owners. So the entrance of the cave was so big. So you get to know that someone big, giant, heavy lives in that. The pillars which supported it being the bodies of huge oaks or pines in the natural state of the tree. That means they had just got the tree like that and put it. There was no carve, there was nothing. So the big trees were just pulled out and put, that's all. And all about showed more marks of strength than skill in whoever built it. So what does it show? It shows they had strength, they were powerful, they were very strong, but they had no skill. They did not make anything out of the bark. They did not even shave it, they did not do anything. They just took the bark, they were strong, they pulled it and put it there. Okay, so these are the things that these people are seeing around the cave because they are exploring, they want to see where they are going. Ulysses, entering in, admired the savage contrivances and artless structure of the place. Now when he goes in, he is very impressed. What is contrivance? Contrivances are device, okay? The savage devises an artless structure of the place. He actually saw everything was very nice, okay? And longed to see the tenant of so outlandish a mansion. It looked like a big place, right? It looked like a mansion. But well conjecturing that gifts would have more avail in extracting courtesy. Conjecturing means guessing. So, a mansion, but well, if you guess that gifts would have more avail, that means advantage in extracting courtesy. So he did not understand the connection of the gifts. What is this? Why is this? Everything is just placed here and there. He did not understand the house very well. Then strength could succeed in forcing it. He has just got everything inside and kept it because he is strong. From such a one As he expected to find the inhabitant, he resolved to flatter his hospitality with a present of Greek wine, of which he had stored in 12 great vessels. So when all these people go for war or anywhere, they take lots of food, lots of wine there, okay. So Greek wine is very, very famous. So he was thinking, Ulysses, whenever he comes, I'm going to give him a present. I'm going to give him a big bottle of Greek wine, because he had 12 big bottles of it, okay. So strong that no one ever drank it without an infusion. Infusion means mixture. The Greek wine was so strong that you have to add in something to it, either water or whatever. Of 20 parts of water to 1 part of wine. Imagine how strong it is. You have to add 1 part of wine and 20 parts of water. Only then you will be able to drink it. Otherwise, it's very, very strong. Yet the fragrance of it even then so delicious that it would have vexed. Vexed means annoyed a man who smelled it to abstain from tasting it. When you smell it, it's so good that you can't resist yourself to taste it. But whoever tasted it, it was able to raise his courage to the height of heroic deeds. So whenever you tasted that wine, first you smell, you like it so much, you want to have it. And after you have it, you suddenly become a hero. Yes, you have all the strength. You become a very nice thing. Come on, fight with me now. I'm going to fight every battle. That kind of thing. Taking with them a goat skin flagon full of this precious liquor, they went into the recess of the cave. What is flagon? Flagon is a large leather container for serving wine, something like this. In olden times, they used to carry liquor in this. Liquor is the Greek wine, okay. And what is recess? Is the remote or a secret place. They went into that secret place of the cave after they took this bag with them, which is called flagon. On what is flagon made of? Goat skin. Here they pleased themselves a whole day with beholding the giant's kitchen. So the whole day the giant had not come inside. They were enjoying the kitchen, where the flesh of sheep and goats lay strewed. What is strewed? Scattered. The flesh of goats, a goat and sheep was here and there, all flattered. His dairy, where goat milk stood arranged in troughs and pails, where he had removed goat's milk and kept it here and there. So they were living on all that, right? Goat's milk, sheep's milk. His pens were, he kept his live animal. There was a pen. Pen is a place where you keep animals. So there he had the sheep flesh and milk. So they were enjoying that. But those he had driven forth to pasture with him when he went out in the morning. But where were those sheep and goats? They had the Cyclops had taken them to pasture to make them eat food. While they were feasting, their eyes with the sight of these curiosities, their ears were suddenly deafened with a noise like the falling of a house. When they were enjoying all this and exploring all this, suddenly a big kind of noise came, as if the whole house has broken down. Something like dar, 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 dar. The whole house came down. Big kind of voice. It was the owner of the cave who had been abroad all day feeding his flock. Abroad means out of their own destination, out of his house. Feeding his flock, his sheep, goat, he had taken them to feed. As his custom was. Custom means every day you do something like this. It's your custom to wake up in the morning and have hot water, right? So like that, his custom was to take his flock to feed. In the mountains. Where did he go? In the mountains. And now drove them home in the evening from pasture. And now he was coming back in the evening after feeding his flock. He threw down. What was the noise? The noise was he threw down a heap of firewood. He had cut wood and got it back, which he had been gathering against supper time. Supper time is the evening. You have breakfast in the morning, you have lunch in the afternoon, you have dinner in the night. So between lunch and dinner, when you feel hungry in the evening, it's called supper time. So what was he doing? He had been gathering against supper time in preparation of supper. So he wanted to make the supper. Before the mouth of the cave, as in the entrance of the cave, he threw all that firewood, which occasioned the crash they heard. What is occasioned? Caused. Which caused the crash. He threw the firewood that created that kind of noise. The Grecians, the Greece people, the Grecians hid themselves in the remote parts of the cave at sight of the uncouth monster. Now with this voice, they all got very scared. So they hid themselves inside the cave. What is uncouth is ugly. Now they were only imagining that how big and ugly the monster will be. So they hid themselves inside the cave in all the corners. It was Polyphemus. Who was he? Polyphemus, the largest and savagest of the Cyclops. He was the most uncivilized and largest one of the Cyclops. Who was it? Polyphemus, okay? Who boasted himself to be the son of Neptune. He said that I am the son of Neptune. Neptune is the Roman god of the sea. Who is Neptune? The Roman god of the sea. And what did Polyphemus say? I am the son of Neptune. Identified with Poseidon of the Greeks. He is the Greek god, okay, Neptune. So what did he say? Polyphemus said, I am the son of the Greek god Neptune. He looked more like mountain crag, like the big mountain, than a man, and to his brutal body he had a brutish mind answerable. That means suitable. He had a big body, right? He didn't look like a god's son, but he looked like a mountain. And to his brutal body, he had a brutish mind. He also had a brutish mind. His body was big, his mind was big, but not enough. He drove his flock, all that gave milk, to the interior of the cave, but left the male sheep and the he-goats without. So what he used to do? He used to leave all the male goat outside the cave and take the female goat inside to milk them. Okay, that was the milk that they had seen. Then taking up a stone so messy that 20 oxen could have drawn it, he placed it at the mouth of the cave to defend the entrance and sat him down to milk his female ewes and his goats, which done. So what did he do later? He took all the female goats inside. He took such a big rock that 20 oxen only could lift it. It was so heavy. He put it there and he went inside to milk the goats. That was his everyday work to be done. He hastily kindled a fire. What did he do? He kindled a fire. Now in those times you don't have matchbox and lighters, right? So they had to rub the stones to get the fire. And throwing his great eye round the cave, for the Cyclops have no more than one eye, and that placed in the midst of their forehead, what? They have only one eye. To look, what he had to do? He had to turn full left, he had to turn full right. Now we have two eyes. If I am looking straight also, I can little bit look around, but he could not. So he was turning his head to look around the cave. By the glimmering light, he discerned some of the Ulysses men. So what did he do? In some light there, he saw some of the Ulysses men. Oh my God, what next? Ho, guess, what are you? Merchants or wandering thieves? He bellowed. What did he say? He roared like a bull. He was so big, his voice was also big, so he roared. It looked like a lion roaring. He said, ho, guess, who are you? Are you merchants who have just passed by, or are you thieves? You have come to steal something from my cave. In a voice which took from them all power of reply. It was so astounding. So when someone is talking so loudly to you, even if you want to say something, you're not able to say, isn't it? Yes, so even these people were so scared, they couldn't say anything. Only Ulysses, because he was the king, summoned resolution. That means he took courage, summoned resolution. What do you mean by that? He finally gave up and he took some courage and answered that they came neither for plunder nor business, but were Grecians who had lost their way returning from Troy. He said, no, we are not any businessmen or merchants, and we are not here to steal anything. We just came and we have got lost. We are from Troy. We are returning from Troy. Yet now they prostrated themselves humbly before his feet. Still they all were very humble. They knew that he is very strong. So they have to be humble. They have to be soft spoken. They can't fight him, right? whom they acknowledged to be mightier than they, and besought. Besought is requested. They requested him that he would bestow the rights of hospitality upon them. They knew that all of them together also cannot fight with such a big giant. So what did they say? They requested him to be nice to them and give them some food. Let them be there for some time and they would go out. He replied nothing, but gripping two of the nearest of them as if they had been no more than children, he dashed their brains out against the earth and, shocking to relate, tore in pieces their limbs and devoured them. He didn't reply anything. I don't think these people have their minds working. What did he do? He took two people closest to him, he banged them on the wall and tore their limbs apart. He did that. Why did he do that? I think he was a man-eating giant. Yet, warm and trembling, making a lion's meal of them, lapping the blood. Lapping the blood means drinking with quick movements of the tongue like cats. How cats lick the blood and drink it. Like that, he was drinking the blood of those two humans. For the Cyclops are man-eaters. Who are Cyclops? Man-eaters. And esteem. They consider human flesh to be a delicacy far above goats or kids. Because they are man-eating, they are everyday eating goat and sheep. But for them, man is a delicious meal. They really, really like it. So he was enjoying himself because he was a man-eater. Okay. Though by reason of their abhorred customs. What are abhorred? Abhorred is hateful, not nice. Okay. Few men approach the coast except some stragglers, those who drop behind others, and now and then a shipwrecked mariner. Because who will come here on this island? No one. No one used to come here. Only when people used to get lost or their ships wrecked, only then people came here. Then was the time that he got a delicious meal. At a sight so horrid. Obviously, imagine in front of him they have teared the limbs and he's eating and he's licking the blood. Such a horrible scene, isn't it? Ulysses and his men were like distracted people. He, when he made an end of his wicked supper, drained a draught of goat's milk down his prodigious throat. What is drained? Emptied. After he finished eating those two men, he emptied the goat's milk. Draught. Draught is amount drunk during one continuous process of swallowing. So he drank a big sip, like a really, really big sip of goat's milk down his prodigious. Even his throat was enormous. Now, enormous giant. All these things tell us that he was so big. Throat, and lay down and slept amongst his goats. After doing all this, he was lying down amongst his goats and he fell asleep. So here we have finished the part 1. We have seen how the Cyclops treated his guests not very nicely. We will solve questions, and in the second part we will see how these people escaped or whether they were also eaten. Okay. Who was Cyclops? Cyclops were giant shepherds who lived on the steep heaths of mountains where they lived? In caves. Pick any 5 details to show that they were not civilized. What is civilized? They were savage people. The Cyclops neither sowed nor plowed. They did not know how to farm. But the earth untilled produced for them rich wheat and barley and grapes. But by the seeds of everything, they got barley and wheat. They had neither bread nor wine, nor did they know the art of cultivation, not cared to know them. They didn't even want to learn. They lived each man to himself, without laws or government or anything like a state or kingdom. Anyone could kill anyone. There was no one. So if there is no law somewhere, imagine how the state is going to be. No one is telling what is right, what is wrong. Their dwellings were in caves on the steep heads of mountains. Every man's household governed by his own caprice or not governed at all. They did not have any ships or boats, no trade, no commerce, or wish to visit any shores. These things show how uncivilized they were. Question 3. Why did Ulysses and his men enter the habitation of the Cyclops? Why did they go in? Ulysses and his 12 followers of party landed to explore what sort of men dwelt there, whether hospitable or friendly, stranger or altogether wild and savage. They wanted to see what kind of people lived in this cave. So we finished question 3. With this, we finished the part 1 of the chapter Ulysses and the Cyclops, written by Charles Lamb. Okay, I will see you soon with the part 2. Bye bye. Signing out, Kashish Chug.